Hello, Sonia Hassie here. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can set healthy boundaries for yourself so that you can be free and live a life of wholeness every single day. Well, yeah, boundaries. That is a very, very important topic if you are feeling ready to live out your purpose and you want to live a life of confidence, of wholeness, of freedom. Boundaries needs to be on top of your list. We can easily get lost if we do not set boundaries for ourselves. So let's begin with the first one. The first one is self-awareness. Now, you need to know what your boundaries are. Now, there are situations that you have run into and you have felt like, oh, I can't take this and I don't even know how to go about it. That right there, if you are feeling like there has been a boundary that has been crossed over, then you know that you do need to do something about it. If you allow it, it's going to affect you and you are not going to be in your truth. Self-awareness also is knowing your values. What do you value in relationships? So step back and really, get a pen and paper and think about this. What do you value? What is so important to you that you want to live up to every single day? Is it faithfulness? Is it trust? There's so much that you can actually think about right now and say, yeah, these are important to me. I would list at least 5 of them. You should have 5 core values for yourself, okay? And again, no one knows what your values are but you, okay? So for me, it's definitely trust. It's definitely God. It's definitely healthy relationships. It's definitely integrity. It's definitely success. So these are the things that I know I want to stay in the boundary. I want no one to get in the way of my values. And if my values are being compromised, then I know that it is my responsibility to do something about it. So that is self-awareness for you. What are your values? And maybe make a lot of lists, but break it down at the end to at least 5 of them that you know this is important to me. All right, and the next one is communicate and express your boundaries. Now you can be, at your job. It could be with your children. It could be, in your relationship. Learn to express your boundaries. I'll be honest with you, this has been a tough one for me because sometimes I have waited until the boundary has been crossed over, and at that point, I'm already angry. So it makes it difficult for me to come from a place of calmness and understanding and try to put everything in place. So don't wait until the boundary gets crossed. If you are starting a relationship, that's a perfect time for you to say, these are my values. What are your values? And can we do this? It could be, in a business, right? What are your values? What do you stand for? This is what I stand for. Now, are we congruent? Can we work together? But what is important is that we understand each other's values. And then from that space, now the other person fully understands and has that awareness, and life gets easier. It truly does with relationships. So, communication, we always say communication is everything, right? But it's actually understanding. Understanding in the communication is what's most valuable. So make sure that when you are, in a relationship, this could be in any kind of relationship, that you guys have this understanding of boundaries, because it will make your life and your journey so much easier. And it brings value to yourself. It brings that self-love to yourself. And it is very, very, very important. Okay. And when you are talking to that person, make sure that it doesn't go so far where you're now offending the person, because it's already been crossed over. So that's where I have made my mistakes. Like, I have waited, and then I think to myself, why didn't I tell this person about this boundary, where I'm just so upset, and I just think he's a horrible person. Do this in advance. Know who you are, know your values, lay them on the table, and then from that place, continue to talk about them also, because I think it's really important also to, if you are in a relationship, to make sure that you are grounded. I think that's a good word, is you being grounded in your boundaries, in who you are. Okay, what's okay with you, what's not okay with you. And the next one is stop trying to please the other person. Or sometimes you might be saying, well, I just want to keep the peace. If you are in a place of trying to keep peace for another person, then you are actually hurting yourself. Okay? You are not giving yourself a healthy boundary. And also know that you cannot control what the other person does. If you hold a boundary, you cannot worry about how they're going to feel about that boundary. This is your boundary. Okay. And if you hold on to this boundary, it's going to keep you in alignment with who you are, in alignment with your truth. So you cannot worry. I'm not saying don't care about the other person. I'm just saying care more about yourself and care more about your boundary, to keeping yourself whole and healthy. Okay. They're responsible for their reaction. And that's something that's way out of your control. You cannot control what the other person does. Okay? You can only control you, and you're the only one that can take your power back. So stop trying to, save the world or save other people. You're not going to. No matter what you do to save the peace, it's not going to fix the situation. Okay? It turns into a very unhealthy relationship, and you give yourself away. I mean, you give your authenticity away. You lose yourself in the process. And that is not something that you want to do. Okay? I would say a few years back, I remember being in a relationship, and none of it made sense. But I started dating him, and my family liked him. Everybody liked him. I didn't like him. And everybody was convincing me, oh no, he's a super nice guy, and he's got a great career, and he's got this and he's got that. I'm like, I don't like the guy. I do not like the guy. And we dated, I think, for like 3 months or something like that. It was horrible. It was horrible. I hated it. And I felt like I was losing myself in the process, because I did not guard my boundary to say, no, this is not the type of person that I want, and the values were not congruent to my truth. And guess what? We're not in a relationship anymore. It didn't last hardly at all. So that's my point. You have to know your boundary. You have to be grounded in your boundary. Be in your truth, because that is where your fulfillment is. That's where you're whole. This is where you are going to come from a place of love, of peace, of, happiness. But you have to be whole. And in order for us to be whole, we need to stay grounded in our boundaries. Also, say no when you need to say no, and be okay with it. Can you be nice and say no? Of course you can. You could, if someone calls you and say, hey, you want to come and have breakfast with me? And you're like, no, inside you're like, I don't want to go. I have so much to do. Be kind and say thank you for the invitation, but I'm not able to at this moment. Maybe another time. Be okay with saying no. Be okay with that. And practice saying no, because I know a lot of wonderful people that give themselves away. They literally get lost in who they are because they want to please the world. And that is not a way to live. We need to be empowered every single day. We need to feel whole every single day. We need to have healthy relationships every single day. And this is how we are going to move forward. So that's it for now. I would love you to subscribe to my channel and like my channel. And if you are agreeing with me that I have some great tools for you to use for free, click on them. I have affirmations. I have a 30-day mindset cleansing. If you are feeling like, oh my God, Sonia, I want to move forward in my life. I'm in a transition in my life where I really need to be whole so I can be able to succeed in relationships, so I can succeed in my career, whatever that is. I have tools for you. Just check them out and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.